Good morning and welcome to the BAM Blog Breakdown, where Brian Kaiser, Aaron Zambrano, and Mike Calder break down expert business blogs so you can better understand them and apply the information to your business and life for real results. We've got a great show for you today and a great blog to break down. Before we get started, we're asking our listeners to help us grow our YouTube following. Get over there and subscribe. It'll help you to stay in the loop and know what's going on so that you can better enjoy our shows and all of our BAM Slam blog breakdowns. I am your humble co-host, Mike Calder. I'm here with my BAM partners, Brian Kaiser and Aaron Zambrano. Brian, how are you today?
I am locked, cocked, and ready to rock, sir.
You've been working on that line? That was pretty good. You delivered that pretty good. Aaron,
That's an infamous line right there. That's a Kaiser staple right there.
It's a Kaiser classic. All right, Aaron, how about yourself, buddy? How you doing on this fine Monday morning?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Ready to get this show started.
All right, well, let's do that. We have a great show for you today, and it's a blog post by one of our favorites, Jeff Shore, on the Jeff Shore blog at www.jeffshore.com. You can find everything over there. And he titled this, 5 Ways You Can Avoid Picking the Wrong Sales Job. Now, I titled our notes and everything, The Right Sales Fit, for a reason. You're going to see that as we start to break this down. I want to kick this off with a personal story. You know, back in 2002, my wife and I had sold a business, and we didn't do real well. We had built this business. It was upside down. We sold it. It was even further upside down. We ended up with tens of thousands of dollars, nearly $100,000 in consumer debt that was against our personal selves, right? We had to fix this. So I did what I do best, and I got a sales job. And I went back and worked for somebody else for a few years in sales. But what was interesting is, in this sales position that I took, in the local sales office, there were over 125 salespeople. Nationwide, they had over 3,000 salespeople. Every month, month after month, for 3 years that I stayed there, and got all our debt paid off, put money in the bank, and kind of get ourselves repositioned for our next chapter, I was consistently in the top 1% for the entire company and top 3 to 10 top salespeople in the local market every month, month after month after month. But what was really interesting was I wasn't happy. I didn't like the product that we were selling. It had no passion for what they were selling there. I didn't like the culture, micromanaged culture. Right? I didn't like the fact that I could sell stuff to an old lady just because I could, even though she maybe didn't want it. Right? So there was a lot of things that didn't sit well with me, but each pay cycle, every 2 weeks, I'd get that paycheck and I'd go, man, I can keep doing this, right? I was being driven by all the wrong motives, so I was having this internal struggle. It was ugly, and I hated it. The blog that we're about to break down can help you avoid having that kind of struggle. Now, if you know me or you know Brian, and I'm sure Aaron would agree with this as well, if you're in business, if you're alive, if you have a pulse, if you're a parent, if you're a career person, you're in sales in one way or another. Everyone out there is in sales. But today we're actually going to speak to sales professionals and small business owners. However, if you take that out and you look at the principles that we're going to share with you today, it doesn't matter what your career path is. It doesn't matter what you're doing for business. It doesn't matter if you're an accountant, a burger flipper, or an entrepreneur. These principles are going to matter to you. Jeff Shore, who writes great stories when he does his blogs, actually got away from the story format here and gives us some serious nuts and bolts on how to create harmony in our sales career. Okay? Again, you can apply this in a lot of different ways. He brings us through 5 red flags that we're going to kind of flip for you as we go through this and give you some tips. We're going to turn those red flags into tips. And he helps you to look at exactly why you may not be happy doing what you're doing as it applies to sales. Okay, so again, it doesn't matter though if you're in sales or not. It doesn't matter if that's in your title. This blog is still going to be for you. You've got to get over to www.jeffshore.com and check that out. Before I give my aha moment for this. I want to thank Evernote for keeping us organized and helping us to collaborate quickly and easily between us blog brothers. Very good stuff. Thank you, Evernote. So, Brian, Aaron, my big aha moment for this entire blog was alignment. Having alignment, knowing who I am, what I stand for, what it is that drives me, and making sure that was in alignment with whatever I choose to do, whether it be a career path, sales job, or entrepreneurship. Brian, I know you had a takeaway from this. Why don't you share that with us?
Yeah, my takeaway, and that was really good stuff in the story there, because I think I've had similar experiences to that myself, so I can relate a lot. My big takeaway from this and all of Jeff's points in the blog was life's too short to not enjoy what you do. And he gave us the five reasons there, or five pointers or red flags, if you will, that you need to look out for. But when it all boils down to it, he mentions it several times. Life's too short. Life's really too short. He's pointed out many times, and that's my big takeaway from it is, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, let's maybe you should get with someone like Mike, Aaron, or myself and figure out, what are you really passionate about? What do you really want to do? Because you're not going to be here forever, and you might as well enjoy the ride. I mean, you put more time into work than you do anything else, so life is too short. Enjoy what you do.
I love it. Brian, I think a lot of people take the approach of, well, I'm going to try it, and if I don't like it, I'll try something else, and if I don't like that, I'll try something else, and then, they
shotgun approach.
They take a shotgun approach and then they settle for, because the shotgun approach isn't working, so they settle for something that doesn't really meet them where they're at. Which actually brings us to the Aaron Zambrano minute, because Aaron has put together, five that he's actually going to recap the 5 things in the blog post in a way that really apply, especially from his viewpoint as a coach and trainer in the athletic modeling in fitness world. So Aaron, without further ado, why don't you go ahead and give us the Aaron Zambrano iFit Minute?
Well, I think you're exactly right. I think the title of this is you can take out the sales process and insert anything that you do. And that's exactly what I did here, is I inserted pertaining to hiring the right coach or hiring the right trainer. And so number 1 was misalignment of values. There's a lot of trainers out there who will prescribe things to people that are so absurd, the things that they wouldn't even do themselves, whether it's a diet or a workout. They'll have them working out 3 or 4 hours a day. They're just completely ridiculous, where these professionals won't even do it. I've even seen some professionals go out and prescribe, performance-enhancing drugs to help them get to the results. So a client has to know, do my values align with my trainer or coach's values? And that's a really important thing. But also misalignment of product appreciation. As a client, it's the client's responsibility to go out and find something that sees results. A lot of times, clients don't do their homework. All they want to do is just find something that works and then get right to it. But you really have to understand the process, really understand everything that goes into that program, because the more that you can appreciate that program, the more you know what you have. I've had so many clients who have left me because they thought there are bigger and better things out there, and what they realize is they're not bigger and better things, and then when they come back to me a year later, they're actually worse from the time that they actually started. So really appreciate what the product is, or the coach, and what the coach can really provide for you. But also misalignment of culture. The worst thing to do is to hire a coach or a trainer who's a negative Nancy. So as a client, you have to look at finding somebody who is positive, who is upbeat. Are they talking bad about previous clients that have left them? Are they, talking just in a very negative connotation when you first meet them? If they are, then you probably don't want to be around that kind of person. So be around somebody who has the same type of culture, uplifting attitude that you have. So number 4 was misalignment of expectations. Man, I've had so many times where people walk into my office and firmly state, are you going to make me look like those women on TV? Because, they left their previous trainer because their trainer tried to make them look like that. And you have to understand, if your expectations that are that you just want to be fit and healthy and you have this particular image, then your trainer, a good trainer or a good coach, should help you achieve those particular goals, not the goals of the individual trainer. Because what I like is something very different than what one of my clients will like. So number 5 is misalignment of success. So first you have to define what is going to make you successful. A lot of people say, hey, I'm going to be successful if I can become a bikini model. Be realistic. Set realistic goals. Is that really what's going to make you happy and successful? Or is what's going to make you happy and successful is just living an overall healthy lifestyle, changing your body, making sure that you can actually live this type of lifestyle, work out, and do all the right things. And so what I wanted to do is just show how this can translate to really any world that you have, or any job that you're doing, or any problem that you have in life. It can translate to that, and you can use these 5 steps in everything that you do. So that's going to wrap up the iFit Minute. We're going to go ahead and roll it over to Brian Kaiser for his 3 keys.
Aaron, that was great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Really good.
Yeah, really good stuff. So, Jeff does a good job, and Aaron just went through all of the 5 points that Jeff had in his blog, and Jeff does a really good job of pointing out, like I said in my aha moment or my takeaway from the blog when Mike was talking, life is too short, and when you're going in and you're assessing, which we've already pointed out, there's a lot of people that do the shotgun method and they don't really take time to sit down and analyze and think about, okay, what do I want? Where do I want to be? What's it going to take to get there? But when you look at this pertaining to specifically sales, you could take it, like Mike said and Aaron pointed out, you could take this and put it into any aspect of life. But the 3 keys for me were really solid and really just were like bam moments is, number 1, the values. How many times have you actually looked at a company or a group of people that were wanting you to go into business with them? Maybe it's a home-based business, maybe it's a company setting, maybe it's an engineering firm. Maybe it's a startup, maybe it's been going, I don't know. But how many times have you sat back and asked yourself, okay, these are my values, these are what I really value in life, these are where my values are. How do they meet up with these guys' values? What is the company values? What is the leadership values? What do they stand for? Do they exude those, or are they just stated values? And am I going to be able to work within that with those values? Because like Mike said, he took a job. He was making money. He was number 1. I mean, he topped the chart, but he wasn't happy, because the values that were being exuded by the company and being pushed upon him didn't match his. So, that's really, to me, that's a really big factor. Are my values in alignment with the people that are wanting me to come do this venture or a sales job or enter into the company, whatever? Do they match? Because if they don't, then you're probably going to, end up having an internal struggle, the same way Mike was telling us in his story. Second thing is the culture. What is the culture of the organization that you're going to work in? I mean, is it a very positive, uplifting, motivating? Are they going to help you grow and learn and actually master your skills as in this case, a salesperson? What does the company have in place so that they're growing you? Or is it all just a high pressure, hey, you got to hit these numbers, you got to make these calls, you got to be at your desk this many hours a day, you get the email if you left 2 minutes early. What is the culture of the company? Because if they're not helping you to grow and learn and be better, maybe you might want to take a look at that, because you probably won't be happy, 2, 3, 4 weeks, months in, when the boss is breathing down your neck because you left 2 minutes early to go pick up the kid. They want you there, they want you to make that last phone call, or they want you to send that last email or take that last customer because you're supposed to be there till 5, and that's the end of it. That's how you're going to do it. That's the way it is, and you got to look at that culture. Expectations. Number 1 reason why relationships fall apart is expectations are not met. And Mike knows that I've been a big proponent of people setting expectations, not just expectations with relationships, but expectations for their job, their career. Like, instead of setting goals, set an expectation for yourself. I expect myself to be here, and then set benchmarks to do that. So, expectations. What are you expecting out of taking this job? What is the company expecting out of you? Like I said, in the culture, if they're expecting that you're going to make 100 phone calls a day, that you're going to send out 50 emails a day, that you're going to sell X number of products a week, and if you don't, well, then your job there is short-lived. Well, maybe you need to understand that expectation. If the expectation is, that they're going to help you grow and develop, and this is the process that you're going to have to go through to get there, then, okay, that's something that in your mind you can say, okay, I can meet that expectation of doing 100 calls and 50 emails and selling that many products a week and having that pressure for this amount of time while I learn the business. And after that, what's the expectation of you? Is there something different? Is there more? Is there less? What is it? And then on your side, does the company know what you're expecting? I mean, if you went in and you said, I'm expecting to learn something of value here. I'm expecting to grow and develop and master my skills in this particular instance as a salesperson. Is that something the company is willing to do? Because there's a lot of situations where you take a entry level or even a mid-level sales job where there's not much training. They expect you to know what to do, and they'll come to you when you get results. If you don't get results, there's really not much growth or learning for you to get out of that company. They're just not going to put any effort into you. And I understand the philosophy, but at the same time, maybe that's something you need to put on the table and see if they're willing to meet those expectations. Because if you're really wanting to be good, in this case, if you're really wanting to be a good salesperson, there has to be some expectations that you're going to learn some more, you're going to develop some more skills, and you're going to be able to master that craft. Because selling is something that, like Mike said, we all do it, but we're all constantly learning and growing and mastering that craft of being able to sell our products and services in order to help someone and benefit their life, not just to make a buck. So it's really that simple for me. The 3 keys I got out of it: values, culture, expectations. And Jeff did a great job pointing out the 5 things, and out of that I pulled 3 that just really smacked me in the face.
Awesome, Brian. I just want to touch on one thing in there that you talked about a lot in the very beginning. That was values. And it's important for people to know that you might work somewhere where their values are actually good values, right? That just because you have a values misalignment doesn't mean that somebody else has bad values. They just value different things than you. It doesn't make them wrong or bad. It just doesn't match you, and somewhere along the line that's going to create a clash. So let's get into the Mike Calderwood Coaching Advantage application. I told you my aha moment was alignment. This whole thing to me is about alignment. I think about a car being out of alignment. It's always pulling you in a direction that you don't want to go. Or even better yet, if you've ever dealt with back pain and had your spine out of alignment, it affects every other area of your body. It can affect your neck, your shoulders, your hands, your legs. It can even affect your feet. When something is out of alignment, it affects all the other areas that are in contact with it. And it can be a disaster, right? So for me, the application is really taking these 5 red flags that Jeff Short gives us and explains so well. Again, get over the blog, read Jeff's version of everything we've been talking about today, because he really gives it to you in a straightforward way that you can use and apply whether or not you're in sales. Doesn't matter. So my application is, first, number 1, take a values assessment. Know what you stand for. Any good coach that you work with, any good advisor that you work with can help you and probably has some tools in place to help you take a values assessment. Brian, I know that you guys work on your culture a lot over there. I know that you guys work a lot on everything that you guys do. You guys have meetings. They're specific. They're well-focused. How do values play a role in your office and show up for you guys to stay cohesive?
That's a very deep question and a very good question. The main focus that we use for the values is just like you said, the alignment of the team, so that everyone kind of stays aligned. That way we all are moving together. we're all getting energy from each other. There's not a clash, if you will, of energy going this way or that way, and it shows up most in our office in better products and services for the client. So the more we're aligned, the more we have the opportunity and the propensity to exceed expectations when we're delivering products and services to our clients, because everyone is on the same page. Everyone's energy is high. Everyone's moving in a positive, very similar direction. And there's not a lot of he said, she said, well, I'm not doing that, this isn't going right. Everything's kind of moving forward, and we keep reiterating these values. We do it every week. In fact, before the BAM, I have the Monday morning meeting every week, and that's something we go over. Hey, this is where we're at. Is everyone still aligned with these things? And we really want to stay focused, and we put that into a mission statement. Help people live a better life and run a better business, and that's kind of the core mission statement. And then from there, we put our values into what's it going to take to exceed that statement.
Awesome. So you guys live by a set of values. I love it. Second thing, so number one was take a values assessment. Number two is get behind a product and service, or sell a product or service that you can really get behind, right? I always think of Shark Tank with this one, and Damon will just look right at somebody that's pitching something that could be a great business, that could make millions and millions and millions of dollars for a $50,000 investment or something, but he'll go, look, you know what, I live a really healthy lifestyle, and I'm not going to get behind a fatty burger. I'm not going to get behind, this type of product because it's not the way I choose to live and be. So he gets behind products and services that meet him where he's at. Another great example, if you just put yourself in these shoes, if you're, really environmentally conscious, could you get behind a product that would destroy the environment? No, right? So same type of thing. If you're going to start a business, if you're going to take a sales career, you need to make sure that you can back up the product or service that you're trying to sell. Simply put. The third thing is to predetermine the culture you're looking to work in or create. So, for example, if you're a solopreneur and you're looking to grow into have a team someday, what does that culture look like? You need to predetermine that. You can't figure that out once you start hiring employees. You need to predetermine that ahead of time. On the flip side, if you're looking for a job, for a career position, sales or otherwise, what culture do you want to work within, and make sure you're able to ask the questions about that through the interview process or what have you. The fourth is be bold and have the difficult conversation about expectations for all parties. Brian did this for me when I asked him to be part of BAM. He said, Cole, let's talk about it. What do you expect from me? What do you expect to happen with this project? What do you expect from everybody involved? And we had this conversation. For Brian and I, it was an easy conversation. For a lot of people, this is difficult. Aaron, in your line of work, unmet expectations can seriously affect your brand and your reputation. How do you set expectations with prospective clients, or even if you're hiring subcontracted trainers to help you with clients, how do you ensure the success? How do you get those expectations on the forefront?
Well, I think you said it best, alignment. You have to know what your values are. I have to be really picky with my clients. I can't just go out and allow everybody to hire me. I don't have enough time, number one. But number two, I want to make sure that the people that I'm getting into my group, whether it's a trainer or whether it's a client of mine, I need to make sure that their values and everything else aligns and their expectations align with what I want to do. And at the end of the day, what I want to do is I want to teach people how to live an overall and healthy lifestyle. That's really what it's all about to me. And so if somebody doesn't want to live an overall healthy lifestyle and they just want to go out and do whatever they want to do and their expectations aren't the same as mine, well, then chances are I'm probably not going to work with them. I don't work with a lot of people who say, I want to get ready for a vacation in 30 days. I don't want to do that because I want people who want to do it for the rest of their life. So at the end of the day, I have to be picky, and I want people who are big dreamers like I am, and I want people who want to take the proper steps to really make those dreams come into fruition. So that's kind of what I do.
Wow, you hit that one home, man. And the reality is that if Brian, you said it so well with expectations up above in the Brian Kaiser 3 keys is, most relationships live or die by expectations, unmet expectations, right? So, really good stuff. Finally, the final piece for application is, like I said above, be bold. But this time, be bold and define what success looks like to you. That can be a scary thing sometimes. Okay? Align what success looks like for you with other people's view of success. Right? If success for Joe is all about money and success for you is all about providing value to people, man, we got ourselves a clash. Just in the definition of success, we have a problem. So we've got to be bold and define what success looks like ahead of time and align that. So there's my 5 application pieces. I would also recommend get over to jeffshore.com, and I use the word bold in here intentionally, and grab a copy of his book, Be Bold and Win the Sale, which is one of the best sales books I've ever read. So that kind of wraps up today. Before we go, I want to get into what did I learn today. Brian, what did I learn today?
Mike, you learned that life is too short to do something you don't like doing. And you don't like doing things when your values don't align, the culture doesn't align with you, and there's no way for your expectations to be met or for you to know what the expectations are that you're needing to meet. So life's too short. Do something you love.
I love it. Aaron, what did I learn today?
Take your time and do your homework. It's like a first date. Everyone is on their best behavior, and everyone is more amazing than what they really are when they go on a date. So, don't go off and decide to get married after your first date. Do your homework. Take some time answering these questions.
Anybody can brush up a resume, right?
That's right.
I love it. Hey, guys, what do you think? This was another Bam Slam home run.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, join us each and every week when Brian, Aaron, and I, every Monday, every Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, where we break down expert blogs so you can better understand and apply the information to your business and life for real results, and we all want real results. Again, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again to Evernote. Thanks again to the Jeff Shore blog, or Jeff Shore Consulting, and allowing us to break down his blog. Remember, all the links for today's show will be under the video and throughout the social media feeds wherever we post the video. If you would like, if you like what you heard today, if you need further information to take advantage of the products and service of the experts that we are reviewing, reach out to Brian, Aaron, or myself, and we'll make a personal, professional introduction for you. Additionally, if you need a coach, an advisor, help in your wellness world, let us know. Aaron is here to serve. If you need help with your planning or coaching, business planning, sales help, anything like that, Brian and I are here to serve. Brian has a great half-day whiteboard session where he helps you look at where your business is, where you want it to go, and fill the gaps in between. Call Brian. He can help you take a 30,000-foot look at your business and where it stands today. Again, Brian, Aaron, and I are here to serve, so we leave you this Bam Slam asking, how can we help you better? We'll see you next time. For now, we're out.
We're out.